Hello, my name is Attila Sabo and I am an academic skills tutor in the School of Education and Professional Development at the University of Huddersfield. In this 4-part video series, I'm going to talk to you about giving an academic presentation. This is part 3. Now, if you remember, in the first part we talked about the structure of a presentation. Then in the second we looked at skills you need to be aware of when giving an academic presentation. And here in the third part, we are going to discuss visual aids, and I'll try to give you some practical advice concerning visual aids. Let me begin by one of the first questions that a lot of people ask, that what visual aid should I be using? Should it be PowerPoint or Prezi or maybe something else? And my recommendation is really simple and straightforward. Whatever you prefer or required of you. In certain situations, you might be told that you need to give a poster presentation, for example, or a one-slide PowerPoint presentation. But if it's not specified, then whatever you feel comfortable with, I think is fine. Personally, I prefer PowerPoint to Prezi. It is because I feel that the animations in Prezi are just too spectacular, if you will, and they might take away the focus from your message. Now, moving on to the slides, one of the first pieces of advice that I'd like to give you is that you should not overpopulate your slides. If you put whole paragraphs on your slides, your audience will start reading it and won't pay attention to what you've got to say. This is a problem because you should be the star of your presentation and not your slides. It is also important to choose the right contrast between text and background. Generally, light background and dark font is preferred. A simple black and white combination is more than serviceable. Here I chose a different background, not white, for a reason, but generally speaking, black and white is just fine. Moving on to this slide, I think this slide just speaks for itself. In case you enjoy looking at this slide, then the problem is with you, and I think from this point on, you should ask your friends whether your slides are visually pleasing. So, generally speaking, unless you are told otherwise, I would recommend putting 5 to 8 bullet points on a slide, and then you can elaborate on those bullet points. Another question that a lot of people ask, that how many slides should I have? My recommendation, as a rule of thumb, 1 slide per minute seems to be an appropriate speed for a presentation. In terms of font size, I would recommend somewhere between 18 and 32 points for general texts, and somewhere between 36 and 44 points for headings. If your texts are smaller than 18 points, then your audience will not be able to read what's on your slides. And if it's bigger than 44 points, then you probably don't have much information on your slides. Again, these are just rule of thumbs. In certain situations, you might be told that you have to follow some different rules. Now, the next thing I'd like to tell you is also just a suggestion, not a rule. But whenever I insert a picture, I give it a drop-down shadow. I do that simply because it helps to lift the picture out from the background. If you need to highlight something, I prefer using transparent boxes. I think they are just better than just underlining or putting your text in bold. Now, the next point I would like to make here is animations. Use simple animations. My 2 favorite ones are fade in and wipe for text. And I would recommend avoiding the really fancy ones like turn or swivel or bounce. Again, these will just take away the focus from the presentation. In general terms, you want to keep your slides clean and simple, because you are the one who's doing the presentation and not your slides. Your slides are only there to help you. In conclusion, in this video we talked about the visual aids you could support your presentation with. We looked at the amount of text that you want to put on your slides, also addressed choosing the right contrast between background and text. We also looked at how many slides you should have approximately, and I have given you some suggestions in connection with highlighting and animations. This is the end of this video. Hopefully you found it useful, and you will have a look at the next part 2, where I'll be giving you some practical advice for practicing your presentation. Thanks for watching. Bye.